I'm Alex Radical from Board Game Co, and today I'm doing a rapid-fire review for Cloud War Tales Nuvitrum from Piff Games. Rapid-fire reviews are a format on the channel where I attempt to give you a brief overview of a game, as well as what I think about it in 10 minutes or less. Before we dive into this, several things to know. First of all, this is a prototype, all the rules and components of the exchange. I'll have a link to the crowdfunding campaign down below. And additionally, this channel is sponsored by Allplay, more about them at the end of the video. But with that said, in Cloud War Tales Nuvitrum, there are several ways to play this game. The basic idea is there's a lot of keywords to go over here. This is an asymmetric card, not really lane battler, but you're playing with the cards and the units on this board as you attempt to go head-to-head either with an opponent in a competitive mode, or alternatively playing it solo, going through the scenarios, and you play scenarios either way. There's different scenarios to play with as far as giving you different win objectives, how you're going to ultimately win against your opponent. There's also going to be solo scenarios where you can go head-to-head against the game, I guess, as you attempt to defeat the specific scenario that is giving you. This is a prototype, so I only have the one solo scenario in here, but in theory it's supposed to be an ongoing pathway of solo scenarios with consequences and benefits and all those things as you go through that journey in solo. So again, lots of things. Asymmetric factions. There are 4 asymmetric factions, at least again in the prototype that I have here. There's going to be solo and cooperative play, as well as scenario play, as you attempt to slowly build up your deck. Oh, and it's a deck building game. It's a deck building card skirmish on a board game. You're going to start with your hand of cards over here, or your deck of cards. You're going to be slowly adding new cards, and again, every faction operates differently as far as how you add new cards to your factions. Every faction has a unique playstyle as far as how they operate on the board. Are you a little bit more moving, a little more static? How do you buff your units? Are you more events, more spells? Different things going on with each faction, as well as having a deck of neutral cards to go through, trinkets you can get, different things going on in this, ultimately, this skirmish game. As far as the cards in general, they're going to have a lot of different attributes on them. They'll have the movement stat, their health, their attack patterns, their defense, a whole smorgasbord full of keywords and abilities, and the basic sequence of play is you're going to take turns adding new cards. You're going to take turns spending your cards in your hand in order to get markers, in order to get the currency that you're going to be utilizing in order to activate your units in order to attack or activate abilities. Moving each unit is free each turn, but attacking or activating abilities, you're going to have to be planning out your currency as you spend your cards, because every card is multi-purpose. Your cards are either going to be going down into play in order to buff your board, or you're utilizing them to power up all the things you're doing as you attempt to accomplish the scenario objectives and hopefully win over your opponent or win over the solo. That's the basic idea of what's going on here. As far as rapid fire review, starting off with the usual question I start with, am I keeping it? No, I don't think I will. Why or why not? Well, there's several things going on here. The most important thing is I've slowly started to realize that I don't think skirmish games that utilize cards as your units has ever been a genre of game that I've ever truly fallen in love with. I've generally enjoyed them, and I do enjoy Cloud War Tales Nuvitrum, or at least the modes I've played so far, but in general, I find that they are fun, but I don't find myself as invested in units that are cards on a board. I can think of a lot of games that I've tried in the genre, and I've always had fun with them, and I don't think I have any in my collection, and I just think that genre has me a little disconnected. It feels a bit more tactical. Give me a bunch of units attacking each other in like miniature form, sure. Give me a bunch of card play, sure, love card play. But specifically putting a bunch of cards onto a board as you attempt to maneuver them and slowly take out your opponents, I find those to be I'm a little less invested. Speaking to more specific criticism as to this one as opposed to the genre in general, I do think that the cards are very iconography and text heavy. Meaning for me, there's some ways to play this. I would say I like the solo mode, only one solo scenario, so with that caveat, but I like my solo play of this a lot more than I liked it competitively, because I had a good sense of what was going on my end, and reading my opponent, there wasn't a lot. The specific solo mode is kind of, repetitive is the wrong use of term here, but first of all, the cards that are attacking you can angle towards you so you can see them, and also there's like one duplicate, you'd have to know the solo scenario, but there's one duplicated card that keeps coming up, so there's not a ton of information constantly being thrown at you. Versus when I played this against other players, I did find that, especially when I was playing against a faction that I hadn't played yet myself, it's very hard to see what's going on and to be able to process their plans, their strategy, without constantly looking at every single card they put down. Again, there's lots of icons on the card. The art itself is pretty nice, but the icons do kind of blend in. Looking at this upside down, I barely can see what this card is doing. I can, because I happen to know this card, but I can barely see what these cards are doing, and certainly not at a glance. It's a large board, there's a lot of icons, there's a lot of keywords in the game, so I do find that trying to have a good sense of what's going on as far as my opponent's strategy is very hard to do practically without constantly slowing down the game to check things. This is the kind of problem that might get better as you play this game more, as you play each faction, as you learn the ins and outs of characters, but at least initially going through my first few plays, I found that it was much harder to get a read on my opponent, and therefore when things happened against me, it felt like they kind of snuck up on me. Something I could have avoided, but with a lot more work. As far as other similar games that might be worth checking out, I'll give you one in the cooperative and one in the competitive. Check out Summoner Wars, I think specifically Master Set. It's a very popular game in this cards on a board as you attempt to build your armies and navigate against each other in a 2-player head-to-head game. And then check out Call of Kilforth if you're looking for something more in the solo or cooperative vein. Actually, I don't know if it's cooperative. I think it's primarily a solo game. I believe it's solo or competitive. But check out Call of Kilforth or any of the games in that series if, again, you want kind of lots of cards on a board, but in more of a solo vein. As far as a counter opinion, there's a lot of things going on here to enjoy. From the scenario-based play, the fact that there's different scenarios. Again, the solo is going to be more in the final version, but the competitive different scenarios in case one does or doesn't suit your playstyle, or if you just want the variety. Or the fact that each faction is wildly asymmetrical with different ways you're going to be recruiting cards, different playstyles. That gives you a lot of depth. The thing that holds it back a little bit for me, the fact that I don't really know what's going on across the board for me until I've played each faction multiple times, that also does give it a sense of, what's the right word for it? Not depth, but a reward for learning and mastering the game. If you're the kind of personality that likes to play these kinds of games again and again with your with your play group or learning it together, whatever it is, this game does benefit from being able to learn the nuance and depth of each faction. So there is a lot going on here that is pretty solid. I think for me the main thing is just that it's not, well, I guess let's go into final thoughts. Final thoughts wise, overall I'm going to be coming in at a 3.5 out of 5. Overall, I've enjoyed my plays of Cloud War Tales Nuvitrum, more so the solo than the, if I was just ranking the solo, it's hard because there's only one, I've only played the solo one time, there's only that one scenario right now, so I hesitate. Overall, I'm coming in at a 3.5 out of 5. If I was just doing solo, I might give it a 4, but I would want more plays to see that over time. But I definitely enjoyed my solo plays more, my solo play, more than I enjoyed my competitive plays. There's just that one solo scenario. For me, I've enjoyed this. I find there's a lot that I like about the system, but the main thing that holds it back for me is the genre, as well as the fact that when playing it competitively, I felt like I was doing my stuff and having a fun time building my engine and working through my plans, but it's just really hard to get a good sense of what my opponent was doing unless I spent a lot of time to really analyze everything going on, which meant that either I had a loose sense of what was going on the board, or alternatively, I got hit with abilities that I didn't really see coming because there are a lot of abilities and things to manage in the game. In any case, I mentioned that Allplay is a channel sponsor. If you go to allplay.com, you can find a variety of games from Allplay as well as their partner publishers, and if you are looking for a solo card battle or experience deck building with a whole lot of overcoming challenges while attempting to not lose your best cards up front, check out Resist if you're looking for a fun game from Salt and Pepper Games. In any case, then until next time, I'm Alex Radical from Board Game Co. Hope you found this review helpful, and as always, I hope you have a good one.